All right, our last storyteller for this evening is coming back to the stage, and I'm real excited to hear what he has to say. It's Jim Luning. He's a Chicago photographer and filmmaker, a drone pilot, a motorcycle rider and builder, an avid traveler on any mode, and a one-time co-presenter and coach of the Team Moto Build motorcycle building event. Please welcome back to the stage, Jim Luning.
Hey everybody, my name is Jim and I ride bikes as well. So, Susan, thank you for having this. I'm a huge fan of this whole series. I think it's great. It's an awesome opportunity for people to get out and, break through that nervous level of talking in front of people and like telling a story without sounding like a complete moron, which everyone has done a great job of so far this evening. So everybody's very nice, very nice. For an evening that didn't have a theme, there's definitely a theme going on here. And every time I sign up for one of these, one thing definitely happens. I get crazy busy, and then 2 days before, I'm like, fuck! I gotta figure out what I'm gonna say. And fortunately, a lifetime of procrastination has prepared me for just this moment. I had something all written out and ready to go, but I think I'm gonna ditch it and pivot, which is one of the themes, and just kind of talk about wrapping up a little bit of what everyone has talked about this evening, which is living stories that you can tell. Like getting out there and, in this case, on a motorcycle and experiencing a different place, a different culture, a different scene, a different road, a different town, different people, really is what makes having a bike special. I mean, everyone can, you can ride whatever it is you're on, a dirt bike, a sport bike, a whatever. I've owned pretty much everything under the sun as far as types of bikes, and ridden all over the country and parts of Mexico as well. And the thing that I've found through all the different travels is there is a thread of the traveler. And the traveler is a mindset, it's a way of being, it's a way of traveling through the world around you that allows things to happen that wouldn't happen if you planned them. There's a joke amongst a lot of my friends and I, there is no plan until you've done something that sort of resembles a plan you might have had, and then that plan can maybe become the plan after you've done it. And then at that point, you're heroes, because you've done something that you may have thought about doing, it turns into something else, it flows, it ebbs, it pivots, it becomes something else. And that something else are those stories that we're all telling. It's those stories that we're living in order to tell them. And I think that's super important to have as you go along through life, is collecting these stories, because they become like volumes in a library that's your life. And the more books that you have, the more people you are to other people. And what I mean by that is, with all the travels and all the experiences and then meeting different people and having that perspective and that understanding of the world, and not just your local community and what you're see day to day, but the world as a whole, it allows you to walk into any room, any place, have the confidence to have a conversation with anybody. You have something in the library that is going to be in common with somebody else. At that point, you've made a connection. You've lived a story that you can now tell. And that person is going to be better by hearing one of your experiences, and hopefully that motivates them to go out and do something else. Not just sit at home or do whatever they're doing, but have an experience. Even if it's saying yes to your friends when it's a shitty night out and you would rather stay at home and have soup. But going out and meeting with other friends. I had a situation recently, a colleague of mine, we've been trying to get together for 10 months. Always we're either busy or out of town or whatever it is, to just hang out and catch up. So 10 months into this, and of course, the day we're gonna hang out cancels. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of how it rolls. Later that same day, and I almost made new plans for it. He rings me up. He's like, hey, a friend of ours, like another colleague, was having a gallery showing in one of the north suburbs. I live in Wicker Park. I'm like, oh, fuck me. Last thing I want to do on a Thursday is like fight traffic, you know, at 6 p.m. to go to a gallery showing in Wilmette. First of all, last thing I want to do is go to Wilmette. Let's be serious. But I got in the car, drove up there, you know, surprisingly quick trip. And I walk in, and my buddy is talking with somebody, and I got 5 feet in, and all these people in my industry that I've known for years, decades, are like, oh my God, Jim! And it's just like this warmth came into me. I never got more than 10 feet into the whole gallery. I never even looked at the, you know, unfortunately I never looked at the person's work, but it was this really amazing experience I would not have had I just been like lazy about it. Just kind of like, well, let's get together when you can, you know, we can hang out in Wicker Park or something. Made the effort, which I think is incredibly important, to make the effort to have the stories that you can tell somebody. But I got to share, you know, a couple of hours with people I haven't seen for, you know, 10 years, a couple of them, and they were happy I was there. I was happy to see them. It turned into this joyous experience, you know, where I felt love from a group of people I haven't seen from a while. And I gotta tell you, feeling some love from the world around you does not suck. It's kind of nice. You know, it kind of feeds everything in your soul and keeps you going. I had another experience with, and this all goes back to like, you know, trying to keep this on the motorcycle thing. The, my 2 best travel buddies, both of those relationships started with motorcycles kind of in the background. One of them is a restaurant owner in town here, and I was introduced to him by another friend, and the friend of mine was like, oh, Jim knows about bikes. You're talking about getting a bike. Talk to him. Here we are 15 years later, and it's like one of my best friends. Another woman is a professor of Russian literature, and I did sell her a scooter years ago. And for whatever reason, I now have a group of, you know, PhD friends, which is weird and awesome. And they're weird and awesome, but that relationship has given me access to the relationships have given me access to going to places where I never would have. You know, different parts of the world, different parts of the country, different, you know, Mexico and like Eastern Europe and things like that. And the access happened primarily because I said yes. I said yes to whatever, like, let's hang out, okay. Let's do something in a month, okay. Let's figure it out, let's do that. Taking just a little bit of effort to push a relationship forward really doesn't take that much out of you. But the dividends of that are massive. Like the investment of a little bit of time, a little bit of effort to go out and live a story to tell. It's so important. Everyone who's been up here this evening has talked about travel and what that means and like the relationship behind why you travel and what you get out of it, and like, you know, honoring an old friend. I've had plenty of those. You know, people who have passed who were like my adventure friends. It's a massive emotional thing to go out and do something that you would have been doing with that person and having an experience. But again, you're living a story that you can then tell somebody, which in my mind keeps whoever is lost and passed alive yet. I think that's super important. You know, having that first bike and the visceral experience of it and the riding, and like I get, even today, like, you know, amongst my friends I'm known for, like, you know, always having a bike It's different. You know, they're all for sale all the time, every day. And it's not, you know, it's just, I fantasize about being like a, you know, automotive or motorcycle journalist. I want to test ride everything. So I wind up just owning a bunch of different bikes and like getting rid of them and like whatever. So the bikes I've been buying and riding, each one has like a different story behind it. A couple years ago, I bought my very first, I'd never ridden a BMW at all, ever. Had never even heard, I could remember, a BMW GS 1200 run. I had no clue what it was supposed to be like. But Ewan McGregor dug it. How bad could it be? Well, I found the worst one on earth. And purchased it from Minneapolis and went up there and brought it back. And I'm like, huh, that's a significant knock in that motor. And it turned into an adventure in motorcycle maintenance. Like that whole Zen and motorcycle maintenance thing, to me, is complete bullshit. Fuck that guy.